Hello. Today I have my dear friend Tammy Price with me, and we are going to be talking about debt and the holidays because the holidays are coming up. And I'm pretty sure, I have not looked at the statistic on this, but I'm pretty sure from what I've seen, holidays tend to be one of those times when we end up going into a lot of debt, more so than other times of the year. And we don't like that. Most of us don't actually like doing that. And so Tammy here is a debt expert, and she's going to share about how we can avoid that. So, hi, Tammy.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so glad you're here. All right,
Yes.
so most of my audience probably has no idea who you are. So, will you introduce yourself? Give us a little bit of the story of who you are, and then we can dive into talking about the holidays.
Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, I have 20 years of experience being a debt collector in the finance industry. I was mean, I was nasty, I was aggressive, and I finally had something click where it was like, wait a minute, what if I took all those beautiful skills and flipped it and stood in the gap for people who were dealing with debt collectors, creditors, vendors, collection agencies, all the things, and I taught them how to protect themselves and how to not be taken advantage of. And it was like, okay, let's go. So I love seeing people save money, save interest, see their money go to work for them instead of against them, which is like what paying interest ends up having to do. So I started a business called Resilient Life, and that's my business where I teach people everything from budgeting to money mindset to debt negotiations to actually having a strategy and a plan for your money, all done in a very different way so that we're not in the feels of shame, guilt, condemnation, bitterness, all the feelings that come up that can put us in overwhelm and just, oh, let me just stick the bill in the bill drawer and burn the drawer.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people have been there or are there right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's such a needed thing in this
Mhm.
time in life right now. That's
Mhm.
so awesome.
Yes.
Okay, I love that. So looking at that then, right? Looking at debt. So there's a variety of people on here. Some people who are listening right now are like, "Oh my gosh, that is exactly where I am with all the debt collectors calling me and but I want to make Christmas special for my family, right?" But then we also have the people who are maybe more like, I'm in debt, but it's not, I'm making my payments on a consistent basis. It's not necessarily significantly inhibiting my lifestyle,
Mhm.
but I don't want to make accrue more for Christmas, but I still want to make Christmas and the holidays special, right?
Right.
And those are kind of probably the main people. There's probably maybe a couple people as well who um, aren't in debt, but have a tendency to go into debt, right? We kind of have those three categories. So,
Mhm.
but regardless, the question overall is how can we have a special, awesome holiday season, be able to give people gifts, be generous like we want to be, right? Because I think that's what one of the reasons why I end up going to debt in the holidays is we get all into the generosity of it and want to be generous and give and have some tangible ways to show people we love them.
Mhm.
How can we do that in some ways that don't cause debt?
Here we go. Are you ready? You might want to grab a pen and paper if you don't have one, or make sure you have this link to replay it again when you can sit in a quiet space if you're not in one. All right, here we go. These are a combination of tips that I've used. These are a combination of tips that I've had other people use or seen other people use. So tip number one, and this has saved me a lot of money over the years. I don't know about you, but like I get into people pleasing and they're going to give me a gift. I need to have something for them.
Mm,
One of the things that I tell people to do is make a list. Have a list in front of you of the people that matter the most and have that list ready and assign a dollar amount to everyone you're spending on. Okay. When you do that, that will help you to kind of have a strategy in place so that, months like right now, it's a great time to be buying or even year round. If you keep this list, right? And like you can even use the reminder app on your phone or something, right? And throughout the year, you're looking for gifts. Then, number one, you're avoiding that last minute shopping where sometimes places increase the price and they call it a sale. And you're also avoiding having to go out last minute and the craziness or order last minute and then, oops, so sorry, shipping is double, or oh, it's going to come after Christmas because you didn't order soon enough, right? Um, Not only that, but then you're able to come in agreement if you have a significant other you make these decisions with, that there are no last minute arguments of forgetting someone or anything because you both came into agreement and you decided this right away. Okay. So that's the first tip, making a list, giving everyone a dollar value. The second thing that I love to do is I love teaching people, like when I'm buying for people, I'm a huge fan of making wish lists and sharing them. So Amazon has a great way for you to make a list where you can share it with people. There are a lot of websites now that are flipping to do this, and a lot of places you can train your older kids where they're like, hey, we want this and that and the other. Well, this allows you to budget better if you know what they want in advance. So then when you're assigning the dollar values, you could buy Jimmy that Wii, or you could buy, whatever it is. So planning in advance, creating a budget, set a limit, stick with that limit. Early, get an early start to this. Again, so the sooner you plan it, if you know you're going to buy something in December that's $400, start stashing away money in January for it. Don't wait to the last minute. That'll remove pressure and overwhelm for you to save a little bit each week or each month or whatever your pay schedule is. Prioritize. Focus on meaningful gifts for loved ones rather than extravagant ones. I can remember I was in a really hard season where I decided everyone is going to get coupons from me. And the coupon was something like, I will come over and watch your kids. I'll come over and make you dinner. I'll run some errands with you. I will help you paint your house. I will help you do laundry. Like, there's so many different ways to give. We don't have to base it on a dollar amount. It could be a skill, a talent. If you have a certain business or a skill set that someone really needs, maybe it's swapping and trading or something as a really neat way to give to someone. Do-it-yourself gifts, making homemade gifts. Those are incredibly thoughtful and can be incredibly cost effective. Shopping sales. So like I said, if you're planning the beginning of the year, you'll always be able to know when the sales are because you've got your radar open. Again, setting gift limits. Secret Santa is super fun, especially if you're like a really large family. So like maybe it looks like you don't have to shop for everyone, but everyone will end up with a gift. And so maybe it's you draw names. Like, have you ever done that,
I was
Amanda?
gonna say, I gotta interject because like my family, I'm the oldest of 11. We've been doing it for probably 10 years because we hit that point when there were a bunch of us. And it was kind of like, well, you could try to get something for everybody and know that somebody's gonna probably miss something and it's gonna be something cheap. And I mean, obviously not that they don't appreciate it, but it's like, and harder, right? Or we can break it down and we just have a pot and each person has a name. It makes it really nice and it's kind of fun because then it changes every year too. Yeah. So I personally love that strategy. We've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, that's so good. And like, again, shopping online, you can find so many deals online. And instead of waiting to the last minute, or there are a lot of companies that do out of this world Black Friday sales. So if you're prepared, you already decided what you're going to get, you know the cost, you've set the money aside. It's go time on Black Friday, right? And you can do all your shopping in your PJs, which is great. You want to avoid impulse buying. So you want to stick with that list. You want to avoid any spontaneous purchases. Track your spending. You want to keep a record so that way you're staying on budget. And also, it'll help you plan for next year. If you find that, man, this year, for some reason, you somehow went up $25 over, then next year, plan that in your budget. Don't beat yourself up. Don't shame game yourself. Just say, hey, you know what? This is great. I'm now aware of this. I can move forward and I can plan for next year so that the same thing doesn't repeat itself, right? Coupons and promo codes are freaking awesome. You can Google. There is a website, I think it's called blackfriday.com, and you can sign up for it and they would email you when those things are. Keynote to remember though is don't forget to unsubscribe to anything you're not actively needing or using or already in the market for. So that way that eliminates the impulse to, oh, well, they're offering a special and I need another thing from them, even though you have a closet full. Don't do that. Unsubscribe. Look for cashback offers. So if you do decide to go the route of the credit card, make sure you utilize it with wisdom. A lot of them offer double points, the things around the holidays. Use that accordingly. Thrift stores are a great way to go to get deals. Goodwill is, I'm a huge fan of going to Goodwill and repurposing and finding things and getting creative. So it kind of mix, okay, well, let's get something and let's really decorate it up or whatever. If you're an arts and crafter, super fun. Re-gifting can actually be really kind of cool. It can be very budget friendly as well. I will confess I have a coffee set that someone gave me, and I don't really drink a whole lot of coffee, so it's probably going to get regifted, right?
Dude, I have to interject on that. I literally have a like shelf or drawer that is that like regifting or like, you know, even just little things. Because in my stage of life, we have a lot of like little kids and like little kid birthday parties we go to and things like that.
Yeah.
And I literally, so you'll get party favors too, right? Sometimes or whatever. And I have a drawer that whenever I have like a duplicate of like a book that's in good condition, obviously, that's in good condition, or a gift that somebody gave me that I appreciate the thought, right? Of course, I'm grateful, but it isn't something that I end up using. Yeah, all that. I put it in that drawer. If it's something that's in good condition that seems like somebody would want this.
Mhm.
And dude, it's a lifesaver because sometimes you have those last minute events like a wedding or a
Mhm.
party, birthday party, and it's like, oh, just go to the drawer and see if there's anything there. And usually I'm able to pull something from
There you go. That's perfect. That's awesome. So yeah. Um, Discount gift cards. So you can buy discounted gift cards from your favorite stores or their favorite stores or whatever. Takes a little bit of research, but so worth it. Um, a side tip, if you're doing online purchasing, because there are so many scammers out there, instead of tying an account to your debit card, I would recommend getting a prepay card and
there.
loading it up with your budgeted allotted amount. This way, number one, you can't go over that amount. Number two, heaven forbid somebody hack or whatever, they only can access what's on that card instead of everything in your bank account.
Mm.
That's kind of a side tip for you. You shopping local is super fun to be able to support local businesses and be able to find unique businesses. Also, like, you know, other people who are in business, small business, you know, your people who are in network marketing and stuff like that. And there's a lot of companies that offer a lot of sales through that modality. So like, it's a great way to do business. It's a great way to be able to support your friends. Really cool. Potluck dinners. So like, maybe it's not necessarily gift giving, but using one of your gifts, such as hospitality or cooking a meal for someone, is also a really cool way to go. Have everyone bring a dish and have a gathering instead. Homemade decorations versus store bought. For those of you who love Pinterest, this is you like Pinterest and YouTube, the ideas and all the things. YouTube is great for coming up with like ideas for how to make your own wreath versus buying the wreath at the store or whatever. You have two routes to go on this next one. Okay, so my little sister is a decorationaholic. She could spend thousands a year and not bat an eye on decorating her house every year. Other people, not so much. So again, you could do it yourself, set a budget with that, recycle decorations. Oftentimes after Christmas is over with, you'll see a lot of decorations go on sale. That is the perfect time to stock up for the following year. Same thing with like, if you decorate a tree or anything like that, that's the perfect time to get the new tree decorations for the following year. LED lights, when you're decorating, those are more energy efficient and seem to cost less to run. Obviously meal planning. So like planning your holiday meals if you're traveling, buying and planning things out in advance. Crock pot is a great way to go and just freeze all the things and just heat them up when you're ready for them. Buying in bulk. You want to kind of number crunch this, but this is a great way to be able to do things like for you Costco and Sam Club members, or if you're members of some kind of purchasing site online, buying in bulk, if it's, you know, the Christmas cards, or you're getting several people a similar or same gift of some sort, great way to go. Gift wrapping. I tend to reuse gift wrap. I'm kind of weird, like doing the bags and the tissue paper and stuff. Like, you're going to get bags and tissue paper. I reuse the bags and tissue paper. So like,
Oh yeah. If
right.
it's not ripped, if it still looks good, you fold it up, you stick it in a box, pull it out when you need it. Oh gosh, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, And the other thing, this is kind of cool. Oh, I don't have one near me. You could take the Christmas cards, and you know how a lot of people, they don't write on both sides. They kind of write on one side of the card.
Hmm.
So like I've actually done this, and it's kind of fun. You can gently cut or tear the card in two and reuse
Oh
the
yeah.
like, and you could make it into like the label for a gift. You could cut it up, and then you have kind of a design on one side, and then like the white space on the
Hmm.
other to write. So you can make tags like that. And I'll also take wrapping paper, and instead of buying the little gift tag things that they charge extra money for, I'll take the gift wrap and I'll cut it up and kind of
Hmm.
fold it over to save money that way. So yeah, and then like being mindful of shipping costs. You want to factor in shipping fees if you're buying something online. For those of you who know about Amazon Prime, it's a good way to go as long as you're actually using it. And make sure you check into the benefits too, because like there's more benefits than just like the free shipping and the 2-day shipping and stuff like that. So like, like the free music and the free books to read online, and so there's a bunch of stuff that come with that. So like check out your subscription if you happen to have it. Budgeting in advance for travel. So like if you're planning to travel and you're going someplace to celebrate Christmas, does it make sense to buy your gifts in advance to take them with you in terms of weight of luggage, or does it make more sense to wait till you get there? Does it make more
Hmm.
sense to just have the gifts shipped to where you're going? So like my husband and I go back to Arizona every year to see family, and we just decided we're just going to have gift cards purchased from Amazon shipped to wherever we are and be able to just stick them in an envelope. It's super easy. And our
Hmm.
families, like both of them, all of them will love gift cards. So, um, something else, this doesn't cost money. Creating a list of people's favorite things. So, like,
Hmm.
you could find out what their favorite color is, their favorite candy bar, their favorite place to shop, their favorite foods, what they collect, favorite style recipes, favorite decorations, that kind of thing. And like, if you had that on hand, how much easier could it be to do the shopping?
Hmm.
For the people who aren't like technologically inclined to be able to know how to have an online wish list of sorts or that kind of thing. It's a great way to go. And even just all throughout the year, celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, special events coming up. Maybe you're an employer with employees who are doing just fabulous. It's a great way to recognize people in a way that they would receive the recognition. So that's a side
We did
tip.
that in, I remember when I was in college and I lived in a dormitory, every year we always had that like event, everybody gets together like the dorm would, and you'd fill out like that type of a list. And it was kind of fun because we got split up. They would split it up by like section or whatever, and we would have access to, usually we would either have a buddy or something like that so that we could like kind of, what did they call it? I'm trying to remember what they called it, like kind of like a sunshine buddy idea. Like you kind of, other places other than colleges have that idea too, right? Where it's like just throughout the year, there was like, when if you signed up for it, like you would commit to X many times in a semester doing something. It didn't have to be extravagant, but even if it was just like, oh, I, got a little like $5 gift card to Starbucks back when you could actually buy a drink for $5 or something.
Right?
Or I wrote you a little note or whatever. Anyway, that was really fun. I remember that was a really great way to bond with people too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. But like just the thought of, being able to give year round and not have it have to cost an arm and a leg, right? And then
Yeah.
even knowing like if you already know what someone wants, it makes it that much easier and that much
Gosh,
more
so
time
much.
effective for you. And then you're not second guessing or having to worry about, oh yeah, this hideous sweater is great. I really appreciate it. Then like they're gonna return it
Hmm.
or whatever. Um, let's see, I'm trying to think of other tips here. Negotiating prices. So like this is great if you are on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or you're going that route to buy gifts. Always know that you can always negotiate. The answer is always no unless you ask. So it never hurts. And because cash is king, when you show up with cash, people are more likely to be willing to negotiate with you. So always consider negotiating. Regulating heating. Okay, I know this is more of a housing tip. However, this can lend itself to saving money around the holidays, lowering your thermostat as much as you can stand it, and as much as for your animals, because some animals, some exotics can't go below a certain temperature. So lowering your thermostat as much as possible and wearing warm clothes to reduce the heating cost. A great way to go. Then you can reallocate the money you're saving there to gifts or trips or, getting debt paid off or whatever. Saving on decoration lights. So use a timer. They make timers, and they have smart timers now where it's like you can use them with your phone. You can like turn the lights on while you're laying in bed. It's really cool. Carpooling is a great way. So like all these tips, they kind of cross over, not necessarily about gifts. However, you can reallocate that money into gifts and food and all the things. Carpooling.
Well, and if you think about events, like you're just saying carpooling, it's like there's a lot of events that happen around the holidays. Like there's parties you're going to go to, and there's other events, musical things or whatever, concerts, plays, so that carpooling works like for sure. Yeah. And then oh gosh, this is a funny story, this is hilarious, with the heating thing. Okay, again, oldest of 11, and growing up, we live in California, so it's not like we get like crazy cold, but we also do live in a town that does in the winter get pretty chilly. And so the rule for the family usually was, because my mom was like always hot, it like did not matter, she was always hot, so she like never wanted the heater on. So basically the rule was that unless you were wearing a sweatshirt, full pants, and socks, you could not complain. Like, do not complain that you're cold unless you're fully dressed. And it's like, because if you were like just wearing a t-shirt and jeans and then you see you're cold, okay, go put on a pair of socks. Oh, you're still cold, okay, put on a sweater. Okay, if now you're cold, okay, we'll consider putting on the heater. But another thing that for heat can work, it depends on your house, but this one I've found works really well in the winter when it's cold and you've got everything closed. If you're gonna bake anyway, don't have your heater on, and you're making Christmas cookies or you're making something, leave the heater off. Use the oven. The oven is gonna heat up the house anyway. Take advantage of that. And similarly, like boiling a pot of water, it makes it a little humid, but if you have like people do these like simmer pots that make it smell yummy, so instead of a candle you've got like a simmer pot, that's going to heat your house or at least a general area. So those are just some things that I found that I've loved, and funny things from my life.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, especially using the stove too, because you're going to use the electricity anyway, may as well double dip.
Yeah, exactly.
That's perfect. Let's see. So plan your outings ahead of time. You can research for free or low cost holiday activities. You can borrow or rent. So like items you need for holiday gatherings, like extra chairs or tables or, utensils or whatever, potluck, inviting people to come and bring your own, bring something and also bring a chair. You know what I mean? Things like that. Bring games to play. Things like that. So using leftovers, get really creative with how you repurpose leftovers. Chat GPT, you literally can use, and you can type in what you have, and you could say, hey, can you help me make a recipe with it? Give me a recipe for this, and it will spit it out for you. So it's the coolest thing. Give it a try. Obviously limit alcohol, keep the alcohol budget in check during celebrations, not only like cost effective, but life-saving. Cashing in reward points. So using any accumulated reward points for holiday expenses. I know like a lot of hotel chains, again, credit cards, there are some restaurants, like you think about like the little memberships. I know some of the movie theaters have those, using those to purchase gift cards and things like that if they'll let you. Great way to go. Revisit last year's gifts. Ensure that you're not buying duplicate items. Some people will make a list of what they've received. Going through your books, like I'll confess, I've been guilty of buying like with gift cards and stuff. I rebought the same book for myself that I already have. So being careful with that. Staying organized. You want to stay on top of your spending. Obviously, don't really watch out for the last minute splurges. Teach kids about budgeting. Use this. Get your kids involved in your conversation. Hey, mommy and daddy are working really hard to save for vacation. Will you help us by figuring out what you want? And here's our goal. It's got to be under X amount. Do you think you can do that? Right. And like the kid's going to, they're either going to say yes or no. But like if you get their buy-in, then when it comes time, I've noticed like there's less complaining. They may even hold you accountable. Like when you go grocery shopping, if they know that every time they save money, that they get to go, they're going to Disneyland. They may say, "Do we really need that cereal, Mom? Do you really need that?" Like it gets downright. It's fun. Um, and again, planning for next year. You can never start planning too early. So you can literally start saving right as soon as you've got the gifts purchased for this year's, right in the next year. And remember gratitude. Remember that the holidays are about being with loved ones and celebrating each other, and you can do that without gifts and spending. Those are some tips for you.
That's awesome. I love that. I was like such a rapid fire. Yeah. So I'm sure we're going to have to go back and take notes because that was like nice and quick, but that was so good. Yeah.
Mm.
And all of those. And I love how so many of them are applicable kind of regardless, like across, like regardless of what time of year it is, we can all practice some of these. And that's really, and it can be a way to help reduce that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Reduce spending and debt. That's awesome. Yay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. So people just listen to you give all these amazing tips and advice. And they're like, oh gosh, I want more. Where can they go and what can they do to connect with you and get more support with debt and budgeting?
Absolutely. So I'm a huge fan of what I call equity offering, which means I have free things. I have things that you can invest into. I'm on Instagram under the Resilient Tammy, and you can find me on Facebook, just Tammy Price. And so I do free 15-minute sessions where we figure out, we do kind of like a really, not a deep dive. There's not enough time in 15 minutes, but you will walk away with something that you can implement that will give you impact based on what your biggest headache or struggle is. From there, if you decided you wanted more, if you go to my Facebook page, you could type in #money-minute or #collections with an S at the end corner. I have a ton of videos. I have a ton of free content. And then the next step from there is if you decide, yeah, you know what, I want like a one-on-one with you. I have one-on-one hour time slots available. I will go ahead and shoot Amanda the link, and then we can maybe put that in the show notes. And then
yeah, we'll put the links to like all your stuff in the show notes so that they can access that really easy.
Perfect. And then I also do like group coaching, and I also do like group classes. I have some pre-recorded classes. So if you know kind of like where you're stuck and whatever, we can connect and I can figure out how best to serve and support you no matter what price point it is. Because my end goal is making sure we pull out the overwhelm, get all the negative emotions pulled out, and let's get you going in the direction that you were called to go in, which is being abundant, prosperous, full of joy, and just going after life with everything you've got.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you. Yay. Yeah. Okay. So Tammy's awesome, y'all. So if you are struggling with debt, if you're struggling, or if you're just struggling with money, you don't even have to be like at the beginning, she was saying that she helps with debt, but also if you're just struggling with money and budgeting and stuff, Tammy's your girl. So links are going to be in the description of this video. Go down, you'll see them, and you should go connect with her. All right. Thank you, Tammy.
Oh, thank you.